My name's Allan Kalik, and I was Kirk's trumpet teacher.
Okay. Tell me a little bit more about Kirk and the kind of person he was when you were teaching him and when you were just hanging out.
Kirk was very willing to learn. He really wanted to get good at trumpet. He always had a liking for it, and as an adult, he decided he wanted to learn to play it. He wanted to do that for a living.
And yet, most of us know him from the corner of the Hawthorne Bridge. How did that come about? Do you know?
Specifically, the Hawthorne Bridge.
How did it come that he decided he should, you know, gravitate to that spot and play and do his work there?
Truthfully, I don't know the answer to that one.
Okay, no.
I know that he liked playing downtown, and I guess a little bit I might know. He wanted to be in an area where there was constantly people going by, and he chose a busy intersection.
Wow. What did you think when you learned that he was doing that, playing his trumpet on the corner of the Hawthorne Bridge?
I thought it was pretty bold of him. I mean, he wasn't the most accomplished player, but he sure, loved being in front of an audience.
When you guys were working together, what kind of lessons did you? I mean, like, was it just a very strict teacher-student thing, or did you talk? Did you relax? How did he respond to the way you worked with him and all?
Certainly, at first, I mean, it was very, very much just a student-teacher relationship. But over time, I mean, he opened up to me, and we became friends. And he liked to talk a lot at lessons. He told me a bunch of horrible things that happened to him, and it's just fostered from the first lesson. It got more and more into friendship.
What happened to him? What were the horrible things?
Well, I know that growing up in the projects, he had his neck slit. I know downtown Portland, he was constantly being threatened by, and I'm just going to use his terms, the homeless bums. That's just how he referred to them, and he was real upset with a few of them. I guess several of them threatened to kill him. He was constantly being threatened because the people that, once again, he referred to as the homeless bums would get real angry with him because he was out there making money, and people would much rather give somebody that's actually working for it the money than just go up to somebody that's begging for it and not, doing anything for it. So he constantly felt threatened about it. And I know there was one time that there was two different occasions. He came to me at where I teach, and I wasn't there. He left me a cryptic message saying, if you don't hear from me again, it's because such and such happened. And there were two people in particular that he was always complaining about that, threatened to kill him. So I know he had told me he had used his trumpet as a weapon before, and he wouldn't be afraid to use it again. And another time he told me he used a gallon of milk as a weapon, and I guess hit somebody over the head that was threatening him.
He didn't have a very easy life, did he?
No, I really don't think he did.
What did you think when you heard that he wasn't with us anymore?
Honestly, when I first heard that, the very first thing I thought of is I sent him an email because it was the rumor mill. And 2 weeks ago or so, he sent out an email that to me was very upbeat for him. It was entitled, "I Can See." And I know he had just had cataract surgery, and I knew that he was losing his vision because of diabetes. And so the email that he sent out to me was one of the more uplifting ones, because I've talked to him about suicide, and I went and visited him in the hospital one time after he had lost a toe, I believe, and I had my son with me, and he was talking about suicide at that point. And, he was doing it in front of my son, which, I kind of wanted to kick my son out of the room, but he seemed to cheer up that we came and visited him. I also brought him one of his trumpets at that point. And so when I found out, I was, I was still in disbelief, and I guess the medical examiner still hasn't, released any information. I guess it's official, though, that he is indeed dead, which is very depressing.
Do you know? Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just going to ask if you know if he has family.
I believe he has a sister somewhere, but I have no idea what her name is. I mean, he mentioned her to me once, and I'm pretty sure she's alive, but I have no idea where. And I believe he's got a couple of cousins down in the L.A. area.
How many lessons did he end up taking from you, Alan, and how were they? Like, was he musically inclined or not?
Um, well, at first, I mean, he came to me. I was his third trumpet teacher, as far as I know. And the other two that he studied with, I guess, didn't necessarily believe in him. And, I'll teach any level. And Kirk was, certainly when he came to me, he was close to the beginning level, but he had developed some bad habits. And once you develop bad habits, they're hard to break. And so over time, I tried to always refer him back to the fundamentals. And he'd occasionally, I guess after receiving some negative feedback by people out in the streets, he'd come back to me and ask me to start completely over again. I mean, it probably happened 3 or 4 times that he did that. I mean, he certainly didn't take lessons on a weekly basis. I mean, at first, certainly he took more lessons. I'd say maybe once a month. And over time, they started getting further and further apart. And, at first I charged him full rate, and then, I started charging him less and less, and, the last several lessons I didn't charge him anything, and I actually started giving him money when he came because I felt bad for him. I mean, I know he was struggling, and I tried helping him with one of the apartments he was living in, and nothing ever seemed to work out right for the guy.
Wow. This is going to sound a little bit strange, but this just came to me. If you were to choose a musical piece for who Kirk Reeves is, what would that be?
For who he is? Well, I know one of the songs that he really liked, and he asked me to help him make him play it beautifully, and that would be Somewhere Over the Rainbow. And that's the song that I'm going to play in his memory at his service.
Wow. Why is that? Why did he choose that, do you think?
I think it's just a beautiful song, and I know that it struck a chord with him. He really enjoyed playing it. And if of any of the pieces that I heard him play, that would probably be the one that he played the best.
Do we have a recording of it somewhere?
Unfortunately, no.
Okay. Alan, thank you. Anything else that you want to mention about any of this?
If anybody had a big heart, it would be him. I know he was trying to make a movie, and, he tried doing everything he could in his power to make that movie. So one of the ladies, I guess you spoke with, Andy, we're going to somehow try to make a movie, whether it's going to be, I actually have his script somewhere. Whether we'll use that or maybe make a movie about him, I want to be involved in however I can.
Why are you so inspired by this?
I think my wife would ask me the same question. Why am I so inspired? Because I guess when you see a person that has been so down on his luck that is just constantly trying and trying and trying, it's very inspiring. I'm very depressed about the whole thing. I'm sorry. Especially because of the way I heard of his demise. I heard it was suicide, which is just absolutely devastating to me.
Well, Alan, as we were talking, an email just came in from police, and it says that thanks to a tip from the public, the Oregon State Medical Examiner was able to locate Kirk's sister and notify her of his death. And then the message from police indicates that he died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
Oh, Jesus. Kirk. I mean, he talked about it, and I never, ever thought he would do it. And, I mean, I called the police on him, and I tried to help him. Oh, dear God, Kirk. That's just devastating.
I'm sorry.
I can't believe he did it. It's just, after that email that he sent out, I mean, yeah, he even talked about that he had thoughts of suicide, but I can't remember the exact wording, and I can certainly look up the email later if you're interested. But he had mentioned, that things are going better now because he got this operation and could see. And I know that excited him. So I can't believe he did that.
It sounds like you're heartbroken and confused.
Yeah, I am. I'm heartbroken. I'm disgusted. I am confused, and I'm depressed.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Why would you say you're disgusted?
That he would actually do it. Because in one of my many discussions with him, that when he was talking about it, he said, he talks about it, but he said he wouldn't do it.
Wow, Allan. Well, I'm sorry to be the one to tell you this. Is there anything else that you want to talk about or mention? Or your hopes, maybe, or anything?
Well, I just with respect to the memorial, it's my understanding that they're trying to organize it so there can be a walk of some sort across the Hawthorne Bridge, and I hope that they're able to get the permitting for that. I guess a person that they need to talk to is going to be out of town or something until Monday.
When's the memorial?
I think it's a week from this Sunday. It's, I believe, the 18th.